Season 2 has officially started filming. One of Netflix's most popular shows had a watch time of over 108 million viewing hours in the second week. That number jumped to 260 million hours watched in the first 28 days after the show was released. Needless to say, Netflix just found a golden goose. But what's the news on Season 2? A week after the release date of the show, it immediately broke through to the second spot on Netflix's top 10 list. Then another week went by, and it became the most viewed Who on the platform. In the third week, it dropped only one spot to number 2, and in the next 3 weeks, the show stayed in the top 10 list. It wouldn't even budge. In fact, the show was trailing alongside Vikings Valhalla, even surpassed this iconic show in the second week after its release. IMDb showed similar trends, meaning the show shot up in their trending tab just 1 week after the release date. This only confirms the numbers we've seen from Netflix. With numbers like these, Netflix couldn't wait to renew the show. And then, on June 14th, a month or so after the release date of the show, Netflix said in a tweet that they would be going back to sunny LA, and that's LA's finest lawyer is back. The Lincoln Lawyer will return for Season 2 on Netflix. Ted Humphrey followed that up with a tweet of his own and a video from the show. He was so thrilled about it, he had to announce the show himself. But there was another announcement they had to make. Daylene Rodriguez, whom some know as the Queen of the South, was going to join Ted Humphrey as co-showrunner. Right after the 28 days passed, Netflix renewed the show for a second season. But as we already said, that was in June of 2022. We hadn't heard anything from the streaming platform since then. Well, it seems like they heard us complaining, and the writer decided to give us an update on the show.
Guess I have to thank you. I still don't know what you're doing here. Were you following me?
I kept SAS on you.
We're not talking about the writer of the show, we're talking about Michael Connelly, the man behind a book series titled The Lincoln Lawyer. Since the show was based on his books, who better to tell us how things were standing with the new show's Season 2? During an interview with the Tampa Bay Times, he got to talk about his new series Avalon and, more importantly, The Lincoln Lawyer Season 2. On October 31st, he shared a photo of the cast and crew on set, meaning by November 1st, they had already begun smashing that like button, just like you should do if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, they had already begun filming. The authors said, "We're shooting the second season of The Lincoln Lawyer now. We just started November the 1st. Season 1 was a pretty big hit. They said that 30 million accounts watched the whole show, all 10 episodes in the first 28 days after it was released. That's accounts. They tell you accounts are shared, so you can probably double that, 60 million people."
What, you feeling spiritual? Going to meetings does that for some people.
Oh no, that ship has sailed.
He even added that the showrunners knew it was going to be a success since Netflix wanted to renew it for a second season after watching the numbers in the first week after its release date. Until today, there's a total of 6 books in the series. The first season was based on the second book from the lot, which is titled The Brass Verdict. In it, Mickey Holler, the main lawyer, is going from one case to the next in a stylish Ford Lincoln, but the second season is not going to be based on the third book from the series. They plan on jumping over it altogether. Instead, they're going to base it on the fifth witness, the fourth book in the series. We'll talk about the plot of the fourth book in more detail, but for now, let's talk about the release date. Since they started filming only recently, the process is set to conclude on March 23, 2023. And we know it's not uncommon for Netflix shows to need another 6 months in post-production before they hit the streaming platform. So if everything goes according to plan, we could expect The Lincoln Lawyer to stream their 10 new episodes of Season 2 in September of 2023. If they speed up the process just a little, they could bring the show to audiences in August, but that's unlikely. So either early fall or late summer is when The Lincoln Lawyer can be expected to debut on Netflix. Aside from this, we can expect the old cast to return for the second season with a few minor changes.
I mean, deep down, I knew this mom and dad sequel thing was just never gonna happen, so.
Wow.
Even though we have no official list of all the cast members coming back for Season 2, we know that the core will remain the same. So expect to be seeing more of Garcia-Rulfo, Newton Campbell, Sampson, and Raycole. All of them will reprise their roles in the second season, but not Neve Campbell. We know, we love Maggie too, but she found herself another job on a show titled Avalon. It's on ABC, and she's in the leading role. so we could expect to see her role downgrade from main cast to recurring cast members in the second season. If you're wondering, that show is led by David E. Kelly. Speaking of news, did you know that Yaya DaCosta will be joining the cast? You might know her from her recent role as April Sexton in Chicago Med. She has also starred in Our Kind of People on Fox, and she even had roles in movies like The Nice Guys, The Butler, and In Time. But who will she be playing on the show? Well, Deadline announced that Yaya will be playing a recurring character by the name of Andrea Freeman. In the book series, Andrea Freeman is Mickey Haller's biggest rival in the courtroom. He has never been able to defeat her. She's just as vicious as him, and she's a cutthroat prosecutor. On top of all this, she's very good friends with Mickey's ex-wife, Maggie. Season 2 is starting to look really promising. They're pulling all of the big guns, but they're not done yet. Did you know that Lana Parrilla is going to be coming to Season 2 of The Lincoln Lawyer? You might know her from a little show called Smash That Subscribe Button, just like you should do if you haven't done so already. But no, seriously now. You'll know her from the hit show Once Upon a Time, where she's been part of the cast for the show's 7 seasons, and recently she was part of Why Women Kill, a pretty gloomy dramedy by Mark Sherry. There she played a character by the name of Frida Castillo. She's also been a part of Spin City, Lost, The Shield, and many others. In The Lincoln Lawyer, however, she'll be portraying a character by the name of Lisa Trammell. She's a local chef and a community advocate. As she's struggling to make ends meet while her restaurant business is failing, a real estate developer is threatening to take over her business, which finally brings us to our plot for the second season. Now we can talk about what's going to happen in Season 2 of The Lincoln Lawyer. As we've already said, the second season will be based on The Fifth Witness, the 4th book in the series. In the book, Mickey is set to defend a longtime client whom he believes is accused wrongfully of murder. The wealthy man dies after suffering a blow to the back of his head with a sledgehammer. Lisa Trammell is trying to defend herself by saying she had nothing to do with the case and that the man was trying to take away her home. As Mickey builds his case and tries to exonerate his client, he's suspicious of her innocence. But later they find out that the banker was involved in some black market deals. Right after discovering this, Haller is assaulted. This leads him to believe he's on the right path. Now he needs to mount the best defense he can in order to defend his client and save his own life. In the book, the last surprise comes only after the verdict is in, which tells us this could lead to a cliffhanger, and eventually a 3rd season in the making. Check out these videos next.